And we are now live on the tube for you. Test. And we are now live on the tube. Ooh, that's real loud. And you hear a lot of like mouth noise or something weird. Okay. Okay, so the problem with so Gary is saying one theory in favor of inflation we were just discussing before I plugged into YouTube. What everybody thinks about, where we're headed. Are we going into inflation or deflation? What's the deal with all this money being printed? Gary is saying one theory in favor of inflation is the stimulus went to consumers this time versus the banks and other financial institutions in 2008. And the money supply is way up now versus then. Yeah. That's interesting, right? You know what they say, a lot of that money, where a lot of that money went, that was handed out to everyone. Take a wild guess. I mean, this is I heard it on the news. I don't know where the stat is actually at, but a good majority of that money went into new brokerage accounts, if you can believe it or not. So there have been, there have been more brokerage accounts, stocks, futures, and Forex opened in the past 6 months than in the past 6 years. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Isn't that crazy? So when they all start losing money, they're going to come call old Daniel and say, yo, teach me to trade, man, please. I'll be like, I can't do it. You got too many already. By whom? You're asking, like, where did that information come? Yeah, exactly. Everybody said they're thinking, right, I've lost my job, got all this money from the government. They're looking up how to make money online. So Google called me when all this happened, and they said, pay me $18,000 and I will teach you how to create Google and YouTube ads, and we'll make them for you. We'll guide you through the process, and all the money spent will go towards ads. And I said, yeah, that sounds great, guys. I just don't really have that kind of money right now. So anyway, evidently they called about 20,000 other guys in this industry, as you can clearly see when you go to YouTube. The problem with YouTube now is every 5 seconds, that thing pops up saying, do you want a 1 year free trial of, YouTube, whatever they call it, Ultimate or whatever. And there's no ads on there. So anyway, I declined to pay the beast $18,000 to sum it up. So anyhow, that's what's happening. They saw the trend, and they figured, well, we know where that money's going. We know what people are going to be interested in, and we're going to serve them the ads that we know they'll be interested in. Right? Isn't that something? Crazy. So anyway, yep, a lot of money going into this industry, and there are so many charlatans out there. It's sad, but whatever. Everybody's got to learn somehow. So I was thinking that we were going to go up. That wave one high was in. I've been vacillating back and forth between this being the end of a wave one and that being four, or is that four? This is all quite awkward looking. In fact, it looks kind of like a double three, but I'm not gonna go there right now. But anyway, let me delete all this and start from scratch real quick. All right, let's start with the weekly. Come on. So I was thinking inflation for the longest time, but then I heard somebody talking about it. And I mean, this is what the guys at LA Wave would always say. He's basically just mirroring what Prechter always says. Deflation, deflation, deflation. Everything's going to go down. And the more I look at this coordinated effort across the world to basically subdue and submit every single human being, yeah, I mean, I can see a deflationary scenario play out. Let's put it that way. It would make sense, because who controls the money supply ultimately? It's not the Fed per se. It's the actual banks, the lenders, right? So if they don't lend any money out, then there's no inflation. David, you're asking me that? Who wants to work training imbeciles to trade? Well, that's the thing. We're gonna have a test, because it's yeah. So we're gonna have at least a course you have to go through before you can join. Otherwise, it's just it's not easy. Give me a second while I just figure out this real quick. Right. I don't know, man. That's a significant high. I'm sure Prechter would say the high is in, but he's been saying that for a while. So we're comparing this last leg. I mean, this has to be an expanding triangle at this point. So this last leg is already 200% of wave one. Wave three can't be the shortest. I think it's pretty much a wrap. And I think we're going to go down. I don't think it's a 1-2. I think we've completed wave 3 of 5 at that high. We're going to come down below this low at 31.98. We're going to go up, make one more high, maybe hit 3,800 or so. And then we're going to go down, down, down as the world goes into a pretty bad situation. I hate to be all doom and gloom, but I don't know, man. The writing is on the wall, and it's a pretty coordinated effort all over the world, like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, I'm pretty young, but you know, some of you guys that are, how do you say it, octogenarians? Let's see. If you would have thought that Europe would be, that we would have a European Union. Well, I guess you're not old enough to really, whatever. Ask somebody in 1920, do you think there'll be a future state of Israel or peace in Europe? And they would have said, what? No. You're out of your mind. And look at us now. That's interesting. So that's 261.8. If that's wave 1, this is all pretty tricky. I could show you Elliott waves stuff, but I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't know. I find myself disagreeing with them a lot, but on this one, now that I'm thinking about it, with the way this whole vaccine and New York kind of sneaking it in to where it's going to be mandatory. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird stuff out there. So I'm starting to get a little bit suspicious. Well, I guess I've been suspicious. I'm thinking deflation. I don't think there's going to be any lending. I don't think there's going to be, I mean, we're moving towards, I think you're going to see tech advance faster than ever. And I think they're going to start, well, I'm not going to say it, but I was going to say, you know, like you do with herds of animals, you cull. Yeah, I kind of think that's what's about to be happening here soon. Sounds crazy, but you know, they've already established essential from non-essential workers, haven't they? Good day, mate. Hey, Eddie. Mickey. There he is. Keep me on track. Don't let me get crazy. So this is the biggest main channel that we've had in the longest time, for over 10 years. And to see us at the top of it, man, I don't see that money being lent out. In fact, when I went to the bank, it was Capital One, and it was in April. And I was closing an old account, and what else was I doing? To sign something. And I was talking to the guy about it while he's wearing a mask. And I was like, yeah, what's up with the loan situation? You guys loaning money out? He said, well, we're allowed to for the next month and a half. He said, but after June, We're not allowed to loan any money out. It's like, really? It's interesting. Why not? He goes, it's bad. I don't know. That's just what they tell us. So that's kind of strange. But yeah, anyway. So it's the actual banks that control inflation or deflation. And if they're not going to lend any money out, I mean, you'd have to have one heck of an idea. And if you're not even allowed to go to a restaurant, I mean, my gosh. This chart was pretty awesome at the time. But so the way that I'm looking at this is this is wave 1, 2. That was 3. This is an expanding triangle, 4. And we're in wave 5. I think wave 5 is not yet done. And I think we're going to go up to here. So that would mean that we're still in wave 4. All right, let me break it down a little bit. Let's just assume that this is the third wave high here. So wave 1 is somewhere in here. Maybe this is 1, 2, that's 3, 4. I don't even know if that works right now, but and then let's say we're in 1, 2, 3, A expanded flat B for wave 4. Sorry, I'm going to redraw that. 3 here. So I'm thinking A, B, C for 4. So if that's, we're going to do this on a faster chart so you can easily see it. But if this is a 1, 2, I don't even know if this works, but we'll find out in a second. That fourth wave will typically come back to where? The previous fourth wave, right? Which is down here. We did come back inside of that high. We came back inside of it by, what is that? 32, 25, 32, 31. So yeah, let's zoom in on that a little bit. Remember, if this is the high that I think it is, they've got a lot of unloading to do. I mean, there's a lot of positions that need to unravel. And I don't see that as having happened yet. So it's either that we're coming up on the end of wave 1 and this whole thing is wrong. And this is all just going to keep going and going and going and going. Or we're about to complete the high of the next 20 years. It's kind of scary. I don't think that works, but we're about to see. I'm really sorry about those emails and the timing and all that. That's just really quite absurd. Should have just started at 3 and then, well, I should have written an email and cleared it up is what I should have done. Like a normal human. But anyway, here we are. So we're trying to figure out if we can get that for wave 3. This is A, B, yeah. All right, let me do this. Let's go down to an hourly. It ain't gonna work. All right, I'm gonna make this RTH chart. I'm gonna make it an hourly. That's a little too much. When in doubt, check the RTH chart or the actual underlying index, which is what we'll do next, the S&P 500. So, by the way, guys, here's the link to the recording on YouTube. There you are. All right. Let me clean all that off of here. Yeah. That's why I was thinking that was wave 3 for the longest time, because it's not quite 261.8, but it's almost 261.8. But this kind of looks good too for way more up, where you've got, this is a wave 1, 2, but typically 1 and 2 are not so, I mean, how should I put that? I would be hesitant to call this first 5 up here the end of wave 1. When you have a deeper, at least I think it's deeper, it's probably about the same. It's identical. It is exactly identical. It's crazy. Huh. So you have the same retracement here as you have at least in price here. Kind of interesting. So I want to call that wave 1 and 2. And then from there, it gets really, really rather tricky. Let me do this real fast. I'm just going to see what homos are saying real quick. And maybe I'll have a better idea. I mean, I know what I think, but just like when you're diagnosed with cancer, it's a good idea to get a second opinion. I would show these to you, but that's a little bit meh. They wouldn't like it. Yeah, it's funny. The they show everything but the ES because the ES doesn't align with their thinking. The ES has already broken the high. Very, very strange. at the Nasdaq. Yeah, alternate wave 1. So that's the low on November 2nd. So they're calling this wave 4. Low on November 2nd. You can do that. I really don't like that kind of crap where you've got so you've got a flat, you've got a triangle, you've got a zigzag, right? And you've got a couple of variations of each of those. Why are you saying thanks? Oh, for the link, sorry. This did not break the low. So it's set up to be a triangle at the time when it turns up. And then, of course, it gaps up through the high and through that high. So then you're like, well, it's not a triangle unless it's a gigantic B wave of a running triangle, which it could be. So they're calling this whole thing wave 4, and that's wave 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're looking for wave 5. What I was thinking was a gigantic fourth wave or a wave 2. So in all actuality, I don't think it would even make sense for me to call this. Let me just show you what I was thinking in blue, because that would make wave 4 relative to wave 2 just take up way too much time. It's kind of pointless, but let me do it anyway. So I was saying that, well, this is probably A, and then this is A, B, and then we'll have C, which I think has already happened here, of wave B, and then a big 5 count C wave down to come back into these lows here, at least to break or come near that low, which is right at 3,000. Okay. If we did that, this would look more like a wave 2, and this would be like wave 1, and we'd have a big expanded flat wave 2, and that would retrace, I think it's 38.2, or it's in between 38.2 and 50, the whole thing. Yeah, it's in between, but what if I use the higher low? Then it's right at 50, I think. Yep, right. It's a tough one. I think I'm about to take a lower high short, and it's going to look crazy, but I think that's what you're about to see, because we have 5 up now for C. Yeah. All right. Let me show you why I'm going to short this. Give me 1 second. I got to turn this vacuum cleaner off this robot. Robots are going to take us over. Okay. Ava's asking, what about A equals 4 and A equals 2 of 5. What about A equals 4? Can you guys annotate? Try to show me what you mean, Ava. You should have a little tool that you can open up and you can draw on my screen, I think. Just please don't draw any curse words at me. Do you see that? I'm not sure what you mean. What about A equals 4 and A equals 2 of 5? Hmm. Four plus 2 of 5. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 equals 2 of 5. Okay, right. Well, it's not okay. It's so that's a guideline, right? You've got rules, and then you've got guidelines. So the rules cannot be broken. The guidelines are just probabilities. And some of those guidelines are just slight probabilities, and they've been taken from, I guess, during the 70s. Every single chart that Prechter and Frost could get their hands on. So thousands and thousands and thousands of charts. And I'd say the vast majority of what they've taught is still very relevant, despite what many would believe. It at least gives us a roadmap to kind of plot out the market and determine trade direction. And then, of course, we use the market geometry to decide where we're going to enter the trade. And then the market geometry to determine where the exit will be until or unless we get, major volume signals along the way where we would take half off. Anyway, I'm not going to try to explain the whole entire system in 5 minutes. But yeah, that's a guideline. So if I drew from 1 to 3, doesn't really help me at all in this case, which is a little suspicious, isn't it? But then again, we use the high before the low and the low before the high also, right? So that one's not going to help us, but this one gapping through that low there, I think this one does. We gap up above it, and then we come immediately back below it. Now we've pulled back up against it. And we're only about 3 ticks above the close right now. All right, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. I like this one because it lines up with the high here. Let's see something. Yeah. Yeah, and it was also the first gigantic whoops. You guys still hear me? I just snatched on the microphone. All right. I swear, I think that's a B wave high that's in, and this is a 1, 2, and we're about to go straight down. But if that's wrong, then Samir, you asked a question before. What was it? Why do I think that 5 is not in? Yeah. Yeah, this whole thing is just so odd. It looks so different on the Dow and the Nasdaq. Well, it's not totally different, but this looks more like A down, B back up, and we're about to have a C wave down. All right. Half of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to move on to showing why I might be taking a short here momentarily. In other words, get on with it. Get on with the show. Let me just finish looking at this real quick. All right. If that is wave 5, if they do have this counted right, and that's wave 1. All right. That makes wave 3, 261.8 of wave 1. Pretty close, which makes obviously a lot of sense. This is a little bit sloppy in here, but it works. Shut up, Tim. Nobody likes you anyway. Hey, when you guys do the chat, do it to everybody. You see the right above where you chat, it says panelists. So you can do it to panelists and attendees. What does it say? All panelists and attendees. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah, I mean, for those that understand Elliott Wave, they're thinking about other degrees, whatever, but most people have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, let's say new people. I do know that we're at the top of some of the largest channels that I've ever seen in my young life. So that's saying something. This is also, if I take a parallel of it, I'm pretty sure it lines up with the low. Not quite as pretty as I expected. If that lined up perfectly, I'd be much more willing to be on board. In fact, I think it does line up perfectly when you're on the ETH chart. That's the RTH chart. Let me see. It's a little bit, not really. It's not that far off though. I mean, that's a typical throw over. So yeah, I mean, that's the slope that we're using. It looks to me anyway. And yeah, I'd say we're pretty well coming up on a lower high. Yep. I think I'm going to have to short it. It sounds crazy. He just sent me a new one. Okay, thanks, buddy. I think that's the same one. Yeah, it's the same one. Right. So they are calling wave 5 done. And they're saying ABC is done also. So I think we'll have one more high. And if we don't, then I won't take a trade. But I need there to be one more high so I can get into it. Talking about from here to here. Man, that's so perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Just a big throw over. Goodness gracious. That's a short. It's not beautiful yet, though. I don't. It showed up at the close on the road too. You're going to be hard pressed to get a short signal in the overnight on a Sunday. But, well, it just all depends. I mean, if they start moving a lot of volume around up and throw this over, then yeah, we could easily get that volume signal. I just don't think that's going to happen. Let's try down sloping upper median line. Nope. This one might work here. Yeah. Nah. I know I'm missing something. Well, we're right on top of that high. 87. I think I'm about to go short. Yeah. It's a really awkward look here. Let's see how far we threw this over. Okay, well, that's one more check in the box that favors this being a wave 4 low, even though we didn't break that low. These I swear, when I miss beautiful trades, lower high trades like this, it's usually because of these type of corrections that are kind of irregular. They're not the typical, flat. Typically, a flat will break wave A and usually go way beyond it. And it'll usually be 138.2 of wave A. This is probably 78.6. Pretty close. So I don't know. It's a little bit funny, but yeah, makes a good C wave. All right, I'm gonna get ready to take the short then. So I'm gonna do a parallel and just see if we don't have any other highs that will line up with slightly higher prices. I mean, I know that one will, obviously, but that's a little bit too far. I'm thinking this little high here Okay. Yeah, you see, right when we broke that, it went straight down. So this is the announcement of liquid death. And we're back inside of that candle. What's the midpoint of that candle? I need to do that on the hourly, but it's pretty much the same. Midpoint is at 3,600, 36.66. All right, let me do that on the hourly real fast. That's what I'm doing next. Exactly, George. Yep. George said, "What about the volume profile?" That's what I'm about to do in a moment. There's just not much volume up there, and it's most of it's in the overnight. But yeah, I mean, I know the profile is going to show that the point of control is basically, I don't know it, but we'll see in a second, like right in there. And that's a pretty good little ways away. We're looking for a C wave up, right? So if this is an ABC flat, A, B, C, then sorry. Trying to use the proper. Ooh, look at it. What was I saying? It opened a minute ago. It didn't open a minute ago. It just now opened. Uh-oh, here we go. What was I looking at? Oh, I was looking at the euro. Yeah, the Forex had opened up. Okay, well, I got to make a decision like right now. All right, yep. Here's the profile of that high. I'm going to do that on the tick chart in a second. Oh, it's exactly what I'm missing. Actually, George, yep, there's the point of control right there. I'm not going to use, yeah, I am. I'm going to try to use Blackbird. I'm going to try to get it turned on as fast as possible. I feel like I'm missing it right this second. I think I just missed it. Yeah, look at the point of control right there, George. And that's what, the 61.8? 61.8 is a little bit higher. We're going so far beyond that channel. That's still, this is a small channel though. So back to what I was saying, we're looking for 5 waves up. That counts complete now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could still be in wave 3 though. What just happened? 4, 5. So this is what we want to zoom in on. So this is showing a potential lower high short. This is making it the operative time frame. So this is an hourly chart. I've got marked as min 5. There's a sequence to the intervals, or let's say the multipliers between the periods of all the charts. And this is number 5. So that makes this the operative time frame for the trade, which makes the amount of volume and the number of volume signals that we have to have pretty large. Hey buddy, what's happening, Rob? How you doing, man? How's it going? Wonderful. Good on you. You still got a job and everything? You haven't joined Antifa yet, have you? Are they about to release the Kraken? Good, good. I'm happy for you. All right, it's heading up. Typically, okay, this is a flat. I have been steering you guys wrong this whole time and nobody said a word. Shame on you all. But how could you know? There it is. That's it. So with a that was nice. With a flat, what do you normally do? You break through the top of the channel, right? And you make it to what? The 138.2 or the warning line of the channel. All right. 138.2 is at 36.10. I think we're about to have enough for a trade here in a moment. 100% of 1 through 3. It's kind of a weird one, but we see that sometimes. 36.03. When did they release the new GPUs from AMD? You know, I had that, although I shouldn't have, but I wanted it. I wanted it real bad. I had that new AMD CPU 5950 in my cart, ready to buy. And when I went to buy it, it was already sold out, like 3 days ago. All right, we want to see what this looks like on the, so the high from, this is it's an RTH chart, but it's the actual stock market close right at 4 o'clock New York. So that close is at 35.90. We're well above that. Do you think it's going to gap down? I don't know. I kind of thinking it may gap up to finish this one. So this might be a bad deal what I'm trying to do here. Kind of obsessing over it, not looking at any other market. Which is not good. Oh man, that's a good look. That is a good look. All right. So it's not showing. All right, check this out. It's not showing the short signal. Not yet anyway, but you've got a beautiful, and that's pretty high. 258. Yeah, they're moving money. They're moving money around. That's a good looking beginnings of a swing high being put in. So we've gapped up a little bit, not much. And it's a little tricky to get a clean 5 out of that. Yeah, that is tricky. 3,600 even. I'm really, really tempted to do this right now, but I'd be early. Darcy, not yet. Wait until the 18th when they release the new Ninja 8. So they have a new, or I think it's the 18th. If it's tomorrow, then it'll be tomorrow. Oh man, I'm really wanting to take this. I just don't want to look like an idiot. That's what I signed up for. So when you trade in front of people, sometimes you just got to look like an idiot, you know? I don't know. I'd look pretty insane if I did this right now. It's a pretty big hourly bar. 10-minute chart is going straight up. Look at this. I did have a long signal back here on the market geometry. Yeah, it's going straight up, but it's also putting in what I think is about to be a 2-bar pattern once this gets past about 4 minutes. If this 10-minute makes a 2-bar pattern, I'm going to go short. How about that? How about that? We also have to make that 161.8. We've got to hit at least 36.0350. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's nice when they do that. Hello. You're on full-time sell hunting. Yeah, it's gonna happen here soon. This might be the first lower high opportunity that we've seen that looks this scrumptious. If it were perfectly at the top of a channel or at this warning line, I'd say, I'd go for it for sure. All right, let me try one other thing here. So this is the very first low before the high, but well, it's the only one that's going to give us a down sloping area. So if we're at one of these warning lines, yeah. Hmm. Well, I'd say we have a fairly clear target. I had a short signal for a split second. All right, I'm getting ready. I'm about to take this. Not sure which chart I'm actually showing. Let me see. You out of here, Timmy? All right, man. Have a good one. Yeah, sorry I'm spending so much time on the ES right now, guys, but this is the first really significant opportunity that we've seen for a lower high.
Order submitted.
So I'm just going to go ahead and get in it a little bit early. It's already turning down. And yeah, I don't think it's going to go too much higher than that. I don't have a short signal, so I shouldn't have taken it. Short signal, schmignal. Who needs a short signal? All you need is a little Dan Rowe in your life. $138.2 is at 36.10. Put my stop at about 36.25, 36.20. Yeah, about 36.20. So this is one that I would be looking to hold for about, well, likely all of next week. This is a swing trade, naturally, obviously. This is not one I'm going to hold for the next 10 minutes and get out. Let me see what Let me see where you guys can see this. Yeah, my problem is I'm just not going to have a down sloping area. It's just not really possible. Let me do this. Let me update the values of the tick chart real fast. All right, it's the time frame tuner, 2 minutes, look back 10. We'll do 10, then 7 and compare. I'm gonna get in up to 5, but this is $100,000. So now I get in up to 4. Oh, this is sim. This is in sim. This is not a live trade. I'm not giving advice on trading. This is not, I'm not a financial advisor. You are hereby disclaimed and such. 4,000 even. Well, that is quite the difference. So that makes tick one 4,000 ticks. That's a bit large for the tick one, isn't it? Let's try 7 days. I just want to see if it's increasing or decreasing. I imagine it's decreasing. Yeah. 38. All right. I'm going to go 3,900. 3,900 ticks. Where's my spreadsheet? It was fast. Thank you, Ryzen. Oh, they've totally disproven Biden's son got in cahoots with China somehow, even though China invested $1.5 billion in his fund. How do they do that? That's pretty interesting. Fake news. You are fake news, sir. It's my favorite Trump quote of all time. You are fake news, sir. Sorry. Here's the deal. Man, Google is changing so much. It's unbelievable. All right, what is the 30-minute chart real quick? 40 ticks. 35, 41, 45. We'll just say 40. Man, that's huge. Normally the Nasdaq is like 3 times the size of the ES, and they're pretty close. I mean, it's now 2 times. So they're not nearly as far apart as they usually are. All right, 1 second. The chart that I really need the most is this one here. This is the tick 2 chart, which should be a 10,210. I knew I was early, but how early am I? Am I way, way early? I'm afraid so. You know what? That's what we're pulling back to. See it? That trend line? Which one, Daniel? There's like 1,000 of them on there. That one right there. Oh, I'm definitely early. 20 ticks early at least. But that's the line that I'm selling right there. I'm going to get it above that. All right, so what is that? That's 20. That might be more than I'm allowed to lose. Hang on a second here. I've lost all math skills in the past 2 days. I think I had a mild stroke. I'll be stroking. All right, hang on. Sorry. I had to. Probably. Nah, I just be stroking. It's the only song I can do in karaoke, by the way. I stroke it to the east. I stroke it to the west. 2,400. That's acceptable, huh? 2.4%. The tick 2. You mean what is it? What is it supposed to be as far as the minute chart? I think I'd do it 1.75. Let me see. No, I was just kidding about the math. But no, I think the COVID, you know what? I've got high anxiety ever since I had it, but I'm also going through some pretty dramatic, life-changing events here. I mean, like I'm splitting up with my love of my life, which sucks. Probably moving out of the country soon. So I've got quite a lot going on, but no, I'm still incredibly high anxiety, and I mean, other than just life, 2.618. So it's 2 times, 2.5. It'd be kind of in between the 5 and 10 minute chart, basically. A little bit larger than a 5 minute chart during the day session. So this chart will have about as many bars during the RTH session as a 5 minute chart would, just during the RTH session. but that'll come and go. I mean, sometimes you'll have far less, sometimes you'll have far more. Yeah, Danny boy was early. Shame on you. I had a signal when I drew that one. Look at that. That is where we're headed. Right to that that warning line there. All right, I'm gonna add one. I know. Technically, it's too much risk. Hang on a second. I'm allowed 2% on a $100,000 account. If I go one more, I can go one more. Yeah, thanks, man. It's rough. How much I made? I haven't made anything. All I've done is lose money. As far as trading, I haven't been trading live. Let's see. So the last time, well, no, I mean, I took like a couple of stupid trades with what tiny little bit of money I had left in that account after having to pay salaries with it. So I'll just tell you a little bit of background as to what we've got going on, what's happened over the past couple of years. Moving from, we've got some pretty high level tools. I mean, it's not your average everyday indicator, right? Pretty pretty exceptionally sounds ridiculous. Quite advanced tools. The most accurate divergence algorithm ever devised for sure. Took me, I don't know, almost 2 years just to come up with the algorithm for it. And then the volume analyst, it's pretty amazing now, but especially now that we have it on the tick charts, relative volume on the tick charts, but what's coming in 2021 with the volume analyst is going to just blow anything volume related out of the sky. But so let me let this cat out 1 second. All right, you've got the same thing in Nasdaq, but you know why now? I know I'm early, and I should have done this before I got short, because we're in the third wave of wave 5 in the Nasdaq. Yep. Thanks, Mickey. It really is quite spectacular, but it's about to be even better. We're adding quite a lot to it, and that is 2021. And rewriting it, it's going to be, it's the thing that slows us down the most as far as CPU is concerned. and just, everything computer related. It is the culprit. Typically volume, anything volume related, volume profile, all that stuff is pretty heavy on the CPU, especially with tick charts. And you're always measuring the volume with ticks if you want an accurate reading. Just a side note, we have hit the 138.2. So that is the typical high of a flat. In relation to A, you've got wave C now 138.2% of wave A, which that's wave A. B, and I bet you wave C is already done there, but kind of hoping it's going to come back and hit this. So let me just carry on and finish what I was saying a moment ago. So last year, we finally got on NT8. This is that kiss goodbye line right here, this trend line on the tick chart. See how we hit it perfectly here, and then here, and here. So now we're pulling back to the underside of it. That's textbook technical analysis. Wave C can go as high as 36.26. I may just make the stop bigger and not add one. Always got to think about risk first. Anyway, so my plan was, let's see, 3.5 years ago. All right, we'll move over to NT8, take about 12 months, and then we'll take on another, I don't know, 100 people or so, and then we'll stop. We'll stop selling it. And then we'll just have, enough people in the trading room to pay the bills, and that's it. And of course, back then I was trading live, and I wanted to prove that you could do it. And I took $5,000 to 29 and 13 months, something like that. But I didn't yet know, shockingly, money management as well as I do today. And the fact is, the fact that I even did that $5,000 to 29 and 13, that shouldn't be possible. You shouldn't be able to do that. If you've done that, you're kind of well, you got lucky. Because the fact is, those periods of drawdowns that I had, and they weren't that bad. The last one was, and that's kind of what stopped the whole thing. I'll get to that in a second, but I could have started off in one of those drawdown periods, and I would have been toast. And probably this whole business would have been toast. I mean, I put everything on the line by starting to trade live money in front of people. What if I would have blown up? Do you think I'd have anybody with me right now? Would there be anyone? Would there be anyone watching right now? Very doubtful. So it was a pretty big risk, but I got lucky, and I had a big winning streak right off the bat, right out of the gate. And I've had the same thing ever since with the sim accounts. So I took in January to May. It's so ridiculous. I'll have to show you the proof before I can even mention it, but pretty big numbers. But anyway, so at the very end, so that was a 13-month period, which ended, I think, in January of 2018, something like that. I don't know. It was right before our Christmas sale, I think. And I wanted to be a hero and break $30,000, right? Mr. Big Shot, fancy pants. So, well, what did I do? I didn't break 30,000. I did break 25 and 24 and 23. And well, let's see. I know I lost about $4,400 over the next 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And I did all of the things that you're not supposed to do, like moving stops, adding to losing positions. Really stupid stuff. The things that if you could only eliminate those, you'd probably be profitable. You know, you'd at least stay in the game long enough to find out if your system you're trading, which I hope you're trading a system of some kind, at least some set of rules, has the potential to make money or not. But anyway, so my plan was, all right, I'm going to stop trading live in front of people because it sucks. For one thing, it's a lot of stress, as you can imagine. And I'm going to focus on getting us ported over to NT8 because everyone is really eager to move us over to NT8, which I really wasn't because it was so buggy back then. But anyway, since then, it's kind of turned out quite nice. So what I thought was going to take about 12 months ended up taking about 3 years. And what I wanted to work on was automating the trade management. And that's what I've been doing with these Bloodhound and Blackbird templates, is fine tuning, the exact specific set of rules that I'm using, not only to enter the trade, but to actually manage the trade. So the management side, I've not put as much into as I would have expected to by now, which is very much unlike me to have taken this long to do it. But yeah, for some reason, it's taken me a while. So back to answering your question. No, I haven't made any real live money from trading this year. It's been all in sim. It was a huge amount, but yeah, it was all in sim. And I stopped in May when Corey left or quit or got fired or whatever you call it. All of a sudden ended up having a lot more to do that I didn't actually do. I think Cedric did most of it anyway. And then COVID. Well, COVID was happening during that time anyway. And I had a lot of self-pity parties. So basically, I just stopped marketing. I didn't want to sell people, um, indicators that were kind of half built, not running to their full potential in NT8 last year. I wanted everything to be totally done. And then I wanted to cap out the number of people that ended up having all this. That sounds like a lie. And from a typical person, typical marketer, that would be a lie. But from me, it's actually not a lie. And you can believe that for sure. If I imagine making a fully automated system and then selling it to 30,000 people or 10,000 or whatever, would that be very wise of you? No. Not that this is fully automated, but it's how do I say it? It's a lot to learn. Basically, you are the uh, holy grail. You are, and your ability. And there's something to it. I don't know how to explain it. There's something to market intuition or trader intuition, whatever you want to call it. Just experience, basically. And I got most of that experience through building automated systems for people using Bloodhound. I did that for a few years. So yeah, I realized, we've all got the same ideas. We've all got the same books that we read. I can't tell you how many hundreds of opening range breakout systems I've made, or moving average crossovers or pullbacks to the 50 or 20 or 200 moving average, blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of variations of those. And they're all useless. The only one that kind of showed some promise was the opening range breakout, done various different ways, little bit nuanced. But yeah, so long story short, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. How's that song go? So yeah, been waiting to get everything done for NT8 for a long time. And once this volume analyst is rewritten, which will hopefully be by the end of the year, then I'll be going live once again. So I still have a bit of work to do on the trade management side, as far as within Blackbird. But see, the next thing that we're going to do in 2021, I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take. I don't think it'll take as long as some of you might assume it would take. It's going to be transforming these Bloodhound templates into an indicator. So with rewriting the volume analyst, we'll be eliminating 90% of the CPU load, which means what? You'll be able to run at least 10 times more workspaces, which is just unbelievable. I can't even believe it myself. So we're offloading all of the relative volume calculations and doing them once per day per instrument. And you can add multiple. This isn't really going to make a lot of sense to many of you, but you can add multiple series per instrument. You can use a 5-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, a 15-minute chart, whatever variation you want to use. And then you'll you'll access that data stream from the indicator on the chart. So just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, relative volume. For some reason, this version needs a lot of days just to build. So what you're looking at, let me do a different chart. Let me do a smaller one so you can see the difference. So this is the row 2 chart. This is the bar that we designed. So I wanted a bar type that I could split up. How do I say that? I wanted to be able to accentuate the volume signals via range, ticks, and seconds, thresholds, lower limits and upper limits. I wanted to be able to set, maximum time per bar in the overnight and maximum number of ticks, yada, 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 such that I can get signals that look like that. So this is the raw volume, RAW, meaning the real volume. So this is real volume, total number of contracts on the top. See how you just don't quite get that 2-bar pattern right there in the raw volume. And this is relative volume in the lower panel below it. And you see that 100% line there? So that 100% line, that's the average volume for that time period. And on a non-time-based chart, that's an incredibly difficult number to find because you have to forecast it as the bar is developing. And then once the bar closes, on that first tick of the next bar, you've got to take the actual number of seconds and minutes and run that calculation immediately on the very first tick of the next bar. That's why everything has to be on each tick with volume. You can never, well, you can run it on bar close, but anyway, once the bar closes, then we have the actual time per bar and we get the final output, and it's usually pretty close. So long story short, the amount of days that we have to load to get the relative volume is usually about whatever the value is that we're looking back, plus 5 days or somewhere, plus an extra couple of days for some reason. I'm not sure why. So the relative volume, we're looking back only 3 days. And yet the minimum number of days I have to have on this chart is like 6 or 7. Yeah, and I'm using all, days in a row. I could set it to like, day of the week. It would compare Mondays with Mondays, Tuesdays with Tuesdays, but then you have to multiply that number by 5 because you're going on a week-to-week basis. But anyway, the number of calculations and just, if I open this stuff up, it gets pretty crazy. We've kind of got a little mini bloodhound inside of this already. It's pretty intense. So anyhow, that relative volume calculation there, that's being run on every single tick, on every single chart, on every single workspace. and it's crazy. So we only need to do, just a few calculations, not all of the calculations that we're doing. So rather than having to load, what is this, 12 days, 13 days, 12 days on this chart, I can load 500 bars and still display relative volume because we're offloading the calculations to a secondary window, to an add-on window, like with this reader manager. So this is accessing all of the signals from all of the different charts. And that's what make up these signals in these Bloodhound templates. And 18 are not okay for some reason. Anyway, so this is an add-on window, and we'll have something similar to this for the relative volume manager. Anyway, that was a wild tangent that I went on there, but yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I want to be as uh, what's the word that the government always uses, but they really never are. They want to be transparent. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to be as transparent as possible, but yeah, I never want to lead you guys astray. And to be honest with you, this whole timing thing with the update, and it's been my fault just because of the headspace that I'm in. I've been dealing with a lot of just, I don't know, grief. It's pretty rough. Just kind of sucks. All right, we're back at the 138.2. I'm gonna look at this a couple of different ways. I'm gonna have to take a break for a second, guys. Um, yeah, anyway, just to add a little bit more to your question, there's a lot of people out there that are straight up charlatans that will tell you whatever it takes to get your money. And I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I have I've been through the ringer with this stuff like you can't imagine. And I just want people to avoid that. It's it's so easy to destroy your life. And really the main thing is money management. That's the thing that we've only finally recently started talking about, thanks to Rerd, because he's made just an outstanding wonderful, beautiful spreadsheet for all of you guys, and we're putting together a course on it. So it's going to be the easiest way to learn it for sure. And I mean, you've got money management, you've got your strategy, and you've got your psychology. Some would say that, well, if you've got an automated system, what is psychology? Where does psychology come in? Psychology comes in everywhere. I mean, even if it's fully automated, you've got settings that you're setting. You're changing values. You're making decisions. You're choosing rules and whatever. So psychology comes in pretty much all the time. But out of those three, they're so interdependent. It's kind of weird to separate them. But number one, if you don't have a strategy that can make money, you're doomed to failure, right? Number two, all it takes is one bad trade, and then you're adding to losing position, and then all of a sudden you have a flash crash and your account is blown. What you would call a Six Sigma event and a black swan event, just a rare occurrence, right? And those things happen. And if you can just avoid those simple, stupid mistakes that we all make, you can at least keep your account alive long enough to actually learn how to make money from this. But very, very few people will ever do it. And it's a very difficult thing to do. I'm not trying to scare anyone off. I mean, of course, that would be stupid of me to do, but it's a lot more difficult than people would have you believe, than the marketers would have you believe. Much more difficult. All right, there's the high. It doesn't look like it's going to go up too much further. I could be wrong, but I could be right. I'm probably right. I mean, I'm usually right. So, whatever. I'm just kidding. That sounded a little Trumpish. I'm totally the best. Poor old Trumpet. I'm going to miss that guy. It did him so dirty. We just hit 127. The 1272. From where? An expansion. Going down to this low. Yeah, nice. No, you're right. Well, it's technically Thursday, but yeah, whatever. That's right. It's fine. I mean, you could also, I would probably use that low there, which we hit perfectly to the tick. Yeah. Nice. Good observation. Good on you. But no, I mean, it takes a lot of spoonfuls of humble pie to make it out to the other side of this. It's not easy. I guess all of you guys know that. I don't need to harp on that for sure. The problem is we have now 6 times more people than we had before trading, I guess, something like that. The number I heard was more in the past 6 months than in the past 6 years. New trading accounts. I imagine most of those are stocks, though. Which I want to get into quite soon, actually. As soon as you guys give me a couple of $1,000,000. All right. I actually got a short signal. And then it went away. But it remains. Yeah, no, you can automate it. So it's, I mean, I've got it semi-automated now, which is how I put this trade on, actually. Blackbird's managing it. I mean, I'm using the colors of the lines. So, for instance, watch this. If I'm shorting this, what's my first target? If I think it's going to go down from the point at which I entered, it would be maybe the bottom of that channel. All right, so watch. When I change the color of this line here that I selected, when I change that to the target color, spring green, one of those orders will snap to that one. Let's see, order set A. This one, 35, 24, 25, will snap. I think it's a third of an ATR above it. So watch. I think it takes like a tick, a couple of ticks, a couple of seconds. Or maybe it takes a template that works. I don't know what's going on. It's not working. Come on. It's probably because of this. That's embarrassing. Anyway, it's supposed to snap the orders to the lines when I change the colors, but anytime one workspace has a problem with the readers, it can affect Blackbird. So something is wrong here. I probably got a workspace open that I did not finish. Lost the source chart. Crude oil. Huh. What in the world is going on here? You know what? All right. Let me just check something real quick. Everything looks fine to me. Oh, this is Euro. Sorry. Okay, there's Nasdaq. Everything is fine there. Yeah, Nasdaq doesn't look ready to roll over yet. I think I am pretty well early. Huh. So somehow crude oil workspace closed itself. Let's open it. Oh, I know what happened. I was messing around with some stuff earlier and it caused a problem. All right. Let me take that break now. So just call this a bio break if you guys need some water. Take a 5-minute break and we shall reconvene shortly and actually make it through crude oil, Nasdaq, and the 6E. Did you see that? It just buggered the whole thing. What in the world is going on? It's not good. Something's gone wrong here. What is today? Okay, 52.27, 55.21. Let's see. I think this is probably the one that I want, but 55.27. This won't take, I mean, this will already be up and running by the time I get back anyway, so. But that is very strange. 55.27, yeah. All right, so I know that I want to use this one. At least they know enough to add a recovery system because the way they handle the XML files is not so bueno. Sorry, Ninja Trader guys. I love you. I mean it. It's not what I wanted to happen. But you could have done the XML files a little differently. I'll just leave it at that. And I know I could have done all my stuff a little differently too. All right, love. We're going to let this play out and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Well, maybe not that fast. Yeah, it is a pretty cool feature, the way they handle that. And there's also a performance counter now that I never knew about until somebody showed it to me. It'll tell you which chart from which workspace or which indicator or whatever is drawing the most CPU or whatever. So now we'll have a whole new problem to deal with, which is the fact that Blackbird is not going to reattach itself to the strategy. But that's all right because I can handle it. At least my orders are still in. I'm just not going to be able to show you. Well, I'll put on a quick fake trade in some other market and show you the way the Blackbird templates should work. All right, I'll be back shortly. My goodness, that was way too long. Sorry, guys. Wow. Ran into someone. All right. So, yes, I'm still down a little bit. But not by too very much. And now, hey, Charlie, come here, buddy. Now on the 2 minute, this is looking pretty good, actually. Well, hello, Charles. All right. So that's a pretty good looking lower high for a 2 minute chart. It's a pretty small time frame, but 141% relative volume. So there's a lot of volume, and it's probably coming into the upside. And I got in way too soon, and I'll be stopped out of this. But this is, it seems like the last few of these sessions, I've had this where I've gone for a lower high in something, in Crude or Nasdaq or something, and it's the trade that works out the least percentage wise. Number of probability to win is the lowest, but when I do win, they're massive. So it's worth the risk. And look at what we've also hit now is the parallel from that other major high. So, well, major high. It's that first little high before the final high. So we've also tagged that, and it's the 138 too. I mean, it's a typical extension for a C wave in a flat, if that's what this is. If this is wave 1 down and 2 back up, this is as good a spot as any. It's about the best spot that we could have for that lower high. And it's got 5 waves up now, very clearly. It's just that that 5th wave is a bit on the large side. And it's exactly 261.8. That's what I was afraid of. Maybe this is just the end of the 3rd wave. It probably is. And I say probably because Nasdaq is in that position. So, yeah, 3rd wave is typically 161.8 or 261.8 in Elliott wave guidelines. So, this being wave 4, coming a couple of ticks inside of wave 1 is no big deal at all. But it's getting a little long in the tooth for that to be wave 5. Not long in the tooth. It's getting a little bit too long, too much price difference. I think once wave 5 gets past 200% of wave 1, then it's probably not wave 5. So at any rate, we have found resistance and it's turned down. So far, so good. Anyhow, we'll see what happens. I'm going to move on. Let me just go through and export all of these so that you guys have them. You guys meaning everyone in the forum, which I did not open up for some reason. One second. Man, Google is changing every day. Something interesting going on in the world. If you feel like you got COVID, oh, sorry, I forgot to hit the share button. Don't go get tested. Don't even do it. I shouldn't say that. That's ridiculous. Sorry, I take that back. Can't say stuff like that, especially not on YouTube. Google sandwich. All right. So close two windows. Here we are. This is the forum. When I say that I'm exporting, this is where it's going. So it's going to, picture of it is going here, right? And then the actual objects are going to a forum, and then whoever signed up to it can then import it via this import manager. Yeah, right. It's ridiculous. Test positive today, test negative tomorrow, test positive the day after that. The maker of that PCR test said this is, well, whatever. Not meant to test for infectious diseases. Back in the 80s when he made it. Just a little interesting fact. This is the import manager. So when I take a screenshot of an export, which happens when I do dun, 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 dun. You do a different one. Yeah. All right. Let me just finish this one up real quick. Very interesting. I honestly think it's probably going to camp out here. Chop around. And hopefully it will open up tomorrow right around the price where we want to sell it, which is between here 36.10 and 36.20. By then it may be no, it'll be right around no higher than 36.28 basically. Yep. I'd allow for a little break of that high, which it may just do, in fact. So this is the RTH chart. Regular trading hours without the overnight. So yeah, when I do an export, it'll show up here. And it will also show up here. I can't make this always on top, can I? All right, so I'm going to export this one. See how long it takes. Well, there it is. No, it's not. There it is. And there it is. RTH3. Pretty cool, huh? Fancy schmancy. First of its kind. All right, let's move on to Crude. And we do have a chat here. Mhm. Well, why would you, John? All right. So that's either 1, 2 or A, B. I've got it as 1, 2 of wave 5. That is the euro. Yep. So we were just looking at the euro. Okay. Well, let's do the euro for a minute. So this is the actual currency pair, the Forex weekly chart, which the volume, relative volume, doesn't work. So I shouldn't even have it on there, to be honest with you. Not on a weekly chart. That could be a killer. Or a daily. This is the actual total number of transactions. So this is the raw volume, which is fine. So this is the weekly chart. And I'm thinking that's a big 1, 2 down. And we're going into wave 3 up, which means dollar go down. At least that's what I think. The guys at Elliott Wave think it's other way around. They could be right. There's a gigantic trend line here. That's holding things up. Hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to spend way too long on this, but you're hunting shorts. Why? Any particular reason? Besides this? Yeah, I mean, it looks like we've hit a brick wall, but what I'm thinking is that this is super gigantic 1, 2, and we're going into a big third wave. So this must be, I don't even think it's, yeah, I think it's this. It's primary 1, 2, which finally ended after seemingly forever. And then we go vertical after, I think that was a Fed announcement, something in here. And then it goes vertical up. And I think we have a really long way to go. It looks like it's in a triangle type pattern to me, but just talking about these most recent past 10 weeks or so. I have this set to, I have to keep changing this. Huh. I'm trying to get on that close. It's more difficult than it should be. Something's going on there. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the weekly. I mean, obviously we've hit resistance on that trend line, which has slowed it down for weeks. That was a terrible one. Hang on. Come on. 1, 2, 3. So that would be wave 1 of 3. All right. So this is what we're looking at these days. 365, huh? Let's do 2,500. Yes. Right. So if I, in the future, well, In the futures, this does line up a little bit better with this low anyway, but normally we draw from 1 to 3 parallel from 2, and you'll find the end of wave 4. It's not quite that simple here, which kind of makes me think it could still be in wave 3, which would make for a massive third wave, or it's in fact what the dudes at Elliott Wave think it is, which is a completed C wave up, and now it's rolling down, but I don't see any downward movement yet. I think they call this a leading diagonal down, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Yep. No, that's the bonds. So yeah, the dollar's in a triangle, they're saying, down. I mean, it's the exact opposite. Let me just screenshot this. So that's what they're saying for the dollar. Which is the reverse of what we see in the euro, basically. Although it's got a lot of other currencies in it. Euro rally underway. Yeah, they're saying wave 1 up, 2 down. Okay. Yeah, I think dude is trying to break away from Prechter's influence. So this is what he's showing on the 240 minute for the euro. They were trying to say that this alternate right here, so that would mean 240 minute. That's on the 9th. Where is the 9th? Yeah, that's the C wave up. All right. So this guy, Jim Martins, I believe, is saying that it's a 1-2, which is what I was saying, that we've got wave 1 up and then 2 down, and that would make a completed 5 up. Which for these guys, I think is going to be a C wave, and they're going to look for it to make lower lows, head down after that. So after the next 5 wave progression ends from here, meaning from this point right here, I'm curious to see what he's counting for this, but that's clearly a 4. And then he's got a circle 2. Interesting. I gotta give these guys a little credit. They have helped me quite a lot. Yeah, that's another thing. We're up into this. So it could very well be a lower high here. Yeah, these next months are going to be incredibly high volatility, a lot of volume, a lot of people losing money. And yeah, hopefully they don't lose it all. So that's circle wave 4, right? So I'm using one higher degree, I suppose. I think I see why he's done that though. Yeah, so he's saying that's 3 of 4, or sorry, 4 of 3. So he's looking for wave 3, I suppose. Way up here. I'm counting this a little bit differently. They're counting this as an ending diagonal up in here, I believe. Anyway, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you don't know Elliott wave. So what I'm looking for is a 5th wave up here. And the reasoning there, well, it may not take that long. So these are all the little nuances, or sorry, what do we call them? Guidelines that we have for counting out where the target may be for a 5th wave. And those targets are, leaving this one aside, and let me just delete a couple first. All right. So to find the end of the 5th wave, if these are all the same degree, meaning that is actually the 3rd wave and not the 3rd of the 3rd. I think it's 261.8. It's close to it. Futures look a lot better. Anyway, we draw from 2 to 4, and then parallel from the end of 3, and also the parallel from 1, which is what I've got right there. And I think that's probably where it'll end up, right there. And that's also the 61.8 of 1 through 3, which is the typical fifth wave target. See the 61.8? And then it's 161.8 of wave 1. And those overlap right there. And let's see what else. So what other kind of fib shenaniganery we can throw on there. Yeah, I suppose it's in that sweet spot between the 272 and 382. All right. Oof, that's the one I forgot right there. All right, so that's the 1-to-1. And I'm using hotkeys for all of these, but so I can grab this one. This one's just, free floating. It's not snapping, which I don't like because it's imprecise, but that's pretty much $60.25, $602. Yeah, that puts the 1-to-1 right there in line with the rest of those. So that's 124. So that's what I'm looking for over the next month. I'll leave these on here and then delete them. All right. So that is the euro, but then let us zoom in on this. This might just be a B wave high, and we make a C wave down to complete that second wave. Is that what you're saying, Rob? Well, let's just see. Okay. Yeah, it's not off to a super fast start for a third wave. Hmm. They have caught for the Euro USD. It's weird. Does it look accurate? Is it for the Euro? The 6E? Ah, yeah. Okay. I need to hurry up with this. I've still got mucho trabajo. How's my ES doing? Poorly. Okay, Mr. Thayer. Take care. Yeah, it's been 3 hours, guys. I guess I've got to wrap it up, or else YouTube doesn't like me anymore. But I need to get through Crude at least. Let me just try to quickly get through the rest of this. Yeah, but the thing is, Rob, that money's not in. I don't know, man. Monetary policy is just a joke of a course in college. It's all smoke and mirrors. You don't need to know, and they don't want you to know. You just let us guys at the Fed handle all that. We'll make sure it's done right. Which would mean the dollar would go up, which would mean the euro would go down. Well, that's what they're saying. So they've got those two different cases though. So anytime he's showing a secondary count, he's fairly unsure, as am I. I would look for my short right here though. And I wouldn't connect. Is this a hourly? Yeah. Would not connect to that extreme, whatever that is, some kind of Fed announcement or something. I would connect to the highest closing price, 18926, 1894. Just happens to be the term bar. Oh. Okay. No, sorry. I would do a parallel of this median line and connect to that. Which is basically the same line. Yeah. This is what I'm worried about here, though, connecting it to where I did. I would much rather use that closing price. Hmm. All right. Yeah, I don't really have much more than that for the euro at the moment. Possible short coming up, but you're fighting what looks to be a completed correction at this low. Yeah, it's so I mean, it's perfectly ambiguous right now. It's exactly in between two possible counts. And I think they're both just as valid as the other, or one is as valid as the other. All right. So moving on. Well, you did just have a short signal too, or at least you had enough for a short on the new templates, the latest and greatest. So this is purely confirmation in the volume and momentum divergence. And you do have quite a bit of relative volume at this high. So if you have the market geometry at this high, then you're justified in taking a short there. But do we actually have it? I don't know. Mm. Sorry. Okay. Not yet. After the Ninja update, the Ninja, whatever it is, three. I can't remember the name of it. It's a massive major update coming out tomorrow or the 18th. Or maybe it just came out today. Have you guys seen an update come out from Ninja? It's still got room to make it up to the top of that channel. No. Yeah, so it will probably be tomorrow or Wednesday. Mm, that is the highest high. It's higher than this one. This is the widest point. Yeah, see, it's after. I don't know. I don't like drawing it like that. It's kind of awkward. Hmm. Just so happens that it's the actual warning line too. All right, moving on. You can see how this would be a difficult thing to automate, right? To do it properly anyway. Yeah. Have you already gotten short, Rob, or just still looking? I'd like to see it hit up here. Sorry, I'm taking so long on this. I'm just trying to be precise. Which does pay off in the end. A, B, C, D, E. Hmm. I don't know. This is a tough one. Which is why we need the tick 2 chart. This feels like a full-blown trading session. Which it pretty much is. Maybe I'll just keep this thing running live 24 hours a day. Kick sleep to the wind and get one of those chips from old Elon Musk. Yes, yes, just like you. All right. That's the spot. You see why? So that's the kiss goodbye line of this. This is a tick chart, big tick chart. And you get this out of the way. Yep. If it's going to make a high and turn down, I'd love to see it break that, which we have, haven't we? Oh, yeah. So now coming back into, I mean, does a volume profile even work on Forex? I don't think so. probably going to crash. On IQ feed it does. Well, it's kinetic. Okay. Yep. So it's showing the total number of transactions. All right. Well, what about just the high? Oh, I clicked it. Dang it. Don't touch the charts while they're reloading. Oh, man. I did it to myself. For some reason, that volume profile can be sensitive when it's trying to load, and then you click on the chart. I think that's kind of Ninja in general. All right, there we go. If this is a lower high right now, you've got some, well, you did have, now it's going straight up. I was about to say you had a couple of really nice churn bars in a row there. No, it's about to make that high. So, yep, 186. Was that what you were looking at? You're looking at 189. I'd say once it comes back inside that low at any point. So that's top of the channel is at 1867, 18. It's all right. So we have two different channels. The one on the tick chart is totally different. This is the one to use. You see why? So when I draw that from low to low, it actually comes back and hits that trend line to the tick right there. Doesn't do that on the minute chart, but it does on the tick chart. The highest high after that, though, is really technically that one, not this one. Yeah, that one right there. So I'd say once it breaks this high, it's probably going to happen pretty quickly after that. It'd be nice to make it all the way up into that profile, but I don't think you're going to get there. You might. All right, I think I beat this one to death, so it's also your 61.8, as you said, Rob. And so what is this? A double 3 triangle for the X wave. A, B, C, D, E. That's a tough one. I'm just going to leave it off there. It's too much clutter anyway. So is this. Yep. So the spot is fairly clear, tight zone right there. You've got the kiss goodbye line from the underside of the channel. You've got this 100% warning line, which is a bit odd, but I drew it. No, I left it there. That's the low before the high. This one. Well, it's one of them. Using this one is pointless. So this is the next best one that's just below this high. If you use that, then you've got the midline lining up right there perfectly at the low. Not quite perfect, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's your spot. Crude oil. And then we're done. Nope. And we have a little bit of Nasdaq. And see, I didn't get to save my charts because it crashed. Three. All right. So last time we were right in here, I think. Yeah, 1 second. I'm sorry, Rob. I'll go back and show that one. So I was on the wrong chart the whole time. Goodness gracious. It's looking like I need to roll over or something. Not yet. So that is very, very interesting. That's just broken out of this channel. and it's pulled back to it. 2-minute 1505. And it's actually gapped up slightly into it. On the 2-minute, this looks like a little expanded flat. Huh. And it's a short signal. Yeah, it's a proper short. Man, I really do have to wear these glasses now. Been fighting it, but I guess I gotta give in. Okay, I think you've got a short right this second. So if you're down for a little super fast trade, then that's what this is showing. This is not to be misconstrued as investment advice. So you have enough volume and momentum divergence for the short signal here. You didn't quite have the market geometry at the previous one, which is why we have everything split up. So this would be a trade setup on the 5-minute chart. Hmm. 10-minute chart. All right, Rob, have a good one. Take care, buddy. Yeah, 5-minute and a 10-minute. So all of that comes together for the short signal on this chart. And there you have it. So that could be, and I don't know for sure what's happening here, but I do believe it's going down. I think we have one more big ABC down to make for wave 2 in oil. So I think we are headed down. If this is in fact a short, then that's an expanded flat from here. This would be A. And B. And excuse me, we would expect 5 up for C, which, yeah, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that's a triangle 4. Looks like an ABC up right here, though. Yeah, it's on such a small scale. I'd say that's, if not the high, then it's pretty close to it. Can I get that Liberty commercial out of my head? It's driving me insane. They got to do some black magic on those jingles or something. Yeah. So, right. That is the market geometry signal there. Thought I had the reader manager set to 100 bars. It is. Huh. I'm going to take a picture of this real quick. All right. Let me recalculate all 1,308 readers real fast. It says 1 is not okay. No, it says all. See, that's something's weird. Yeah, I think I know what it is, but all right. So when you set that to, like I did, 100, then it should only show signals for the past 100 bars, but there's something. I don't know what it is. Well, anyway, it'll be fixed in the update that you get. It's a little bit more up close now, and you can see it's not quite touching those areas yet. Yeah, I'd wait for 40.67. Yeah, after recalculating, it's just showing a volume sell signal now. There's one more here that I failed to see. Boom. That's the one. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so that's probably your short for crude. I would take it, but I need to take off. It's difficult running 4 markets. It's just about impossible. And ES is going back up, of course. Definitely early on that. I have no idea why I did that. Well, I mean, I did. It was lining up, but I should have waited to at least 36.10, which was that 138 too. And wait for it to slow down a bit. I mean, goodness gracious, it was straight up on the 10-minute and the 30-minute. I didn't need to rush that one. Yeah, ultimately, I think we're headed here. All right, Nasdaq. Where's Nasdaq? It's still the euro. I can't wait to get off so I can eat. I'm so hungry. For a change. Lost like 8 pounds in the past 2 months. 9 pounds. Good old depression. It's funny. I was just thinking about something. Fauci and him saying originally that, masks were basically useless. As most physicians would tell you anyway, but for virus, not for bacteria, but for virus. And then all of a sudden they changed their tune. It's almost as if they waited until they had some sort of a trade deal in place. Because every one of those is made in China. And now they're like, $8 a piece, something you used to buy for 33 cents. Oh, wow, I forgot where I was. Whoops. Sorry. Didn't mean that. I was just totally joking. I chose this one. I know it looks weird, but it's the first low after breaking that high. Plus, it's the only low relevant that gives us a down sloping channel if I'm even on the right chart, which I hope I am. Yes. Yep. So that's going to be the point of control of that weird triangle looking pattern there too, I think. Calculate faster. Oof, nice, perfect. Yep, that's your spot, which is still a little bit higher, which means that I'll likely have to get out of my short in the ES or take a stop. I don't want to take a stop. I think I may just exit that one now. It's going down at least. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I think we've got one more high for the Nasdaq into here. And then we should have a pretty strong down wave, which will look something like this, I think. I have no idea if that's it for the Nasdaq. Those tech giants are ruling the world, evidently. So it's a technocracy now. It's already begun. I thought it was all science fiction, but I guess it wasn't for them. So I think we're about to see 5 waves down to here, and then that is likely just a wave too low until it turns back up into a gigantic third wave. And then try to make sense out of all of this. I have no idea. I just know that it's going up exponentially, pretty much. It was. And it's time for a correction, which is not over. I think that is just an A wave. Even if we make one more push up, it can still go above the high and this be part of a correction. It would just be an expanded flat. So I think that's what's going on. Look at that. It's just unbelievable. Oh, to have bought Apple and Google and Microsoft when I had no money. They make you, go into debt to go through college, and then you spend a lifetime paying that off. Thankfully, I got that paid off. It's quite the system we have, isn't it? Jesus. Anyway, ending on a brighter note, we are about to have, and we may as well have it early. So if you are interested, and you've made it this far, we're about to have a 40% off sale. Okay. We're going to have a 50% off sale for Black Friday. And since Black Friday came early this year for everyone in the world but us, I guess it starts tomorrow or tonight or whenever you want it to start. So if you're interested, call me. I'll be up for a little while. All right, you guys have a good evening, and I'll talk to you whenever. Next Sunday, or not tomorrow for the trading room. We'll send out an email. I got to spend part of tomorrow with Bo, the morning with Bo, and getting the update wrapped up. This is just the same channel I drew on the 10-minute. All right. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Great week ahead. It's going to be interesting. All right. We're probably going to do just 2 days a week until after Black Friday, and then we'll do 3. So, all right. Y'all have a good one. Night, night. All right. Good night.